cat in a Houston shelter started releasing his friends from the senior cat room every single night, leaving shelter staff to herd free-roaming cats back to where they belong every morning. Quilty was born at the Friends for Life animal shelter and adopted as a kitten, but then returned to the same shelter later in life. Cats at this shelter live in large shared rooms instead of in individual kennels, but nobody tells Quilty where he is allowed to exist. In his previous home, Quilty learned to use door handles, but he made sure to keep this skill a secret from staff. He waited patiently until all the humans went home for the night, and then made his escape, releasing all of his roommates at the same time. They had a blast, and after collecting the wandering cats in the morning, staff checked security footage to identify Quilty as their culprit. They tried to Quilty-proof the room with a makeshift lock, but it wasn't effective, and Quilty still let his friends out the following night. Finally, a child lock on the door successfully thwarted Quilty's plans, but his antics had already made him a star on social media. His story generated lots of donations for the shelter and ensured that he was quickly adopted. Once he was in a new home, Quilty happily traded in his escape schemes for belly rubs on the couch and settled in nicely, knowing that he now had a forever home. Staff at a London shelter kept arriving to find dogs running loose and complete chaos in their kitchen, and they had no idea how this just kept happening. After ruling out pranks and ghosts, and firmly reminding the team to properly latch the kennels, they set up security cameras to catch the culprit. What they found was Red, a greyhound mix who had appointed himself as Battersea Dogs and Cats Home's official chief entertainment officer. Night after night, he would carefully unlatch his own kennel door and then head straight to the kitchen for a midnight snack. After snagging the best treats for himself, the social butterfly would go back to his waiting friends and release up to 12 dogs at a time for his impromptu dinner parties. He would invite a different guest list each time, but staff noticed that he usually included Lucky, the stray he was rescued with, and a few other VIPs. By morning, staff would arrive to utter chaos, and zero apologies from the canine party crew. When Red's escapades made headlines back in 2004, hundreds of adoption applications poured in, from people eager to take home the legendary party animal and his crew. Red, Lucky, and several of their partners in crime were quickly adopted by families who appreciated a dog with an active social calendar. The owner of an Arizona animal shelter was startled awake at midnight when she received an alert on her phone that the security alarm was going off at the shelter. And the last thing she expected to find was that it was just because this husky decided to break out of his kennel and try to release his friends for a late night party. Security footage shows King, the self-appointed head of the shelter's party planning committee, breaking out of his kennel and then attempting to open all of the other kennels with his paws. While his attempts to release his friends unfortunately failed, King didn't let that stop the fun. He used his door opening skills to make his way into the shelter's office, where he raided multiple snack cabinets, creating what can only be described as a very enthusiastic mess. But like many other rowdy late night celebrations, King's party caught the attention of local authorities, who have 24/7 access to the facility in case they find an animal in need after hours. The officer was greeted affectionately by the party husky, who was honestly just happy that somebody had shown up to his event. After helping the party animal back to his kennel, the officer stayed to help clean up after the party, grabbing a broom to clean up the scattered snacks. King was quickly adopted after all the attention he gained from his party, and I can only assume he's taken on the role of social director of his new household.